Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to continue with the Hitachi D-980M in servicing the transport of it. This will be a completely self-contained video and hopefully we'll end with the transport back in the deck and working, but who knows whether or not that's going to be the case. We'll do our best is all I can say to that, and by we I mean me and my imaginary friends and of course you guys. There's a few things we need to address before we actually get into this. First off, you'll notice that I am gloved up because Hitachi belts are just like Aiwa belts. They just melt. And that's exactly what we've got going on with this one again. I should mention that I have done some work off camera. You'll notice that the counter pulley here is cleaned up and it's also been lubricated. I just dripped some oil into this and it's running nicely. You can actually take this off to do a more thorough job cleaning and regreasing, but it involves loosening a couple of set screws in back, which I wasn't confident I would be able to do without destroying them. So I just decided to do it in place and just get some oil into that, and hopefully this will end up being a better result than using the grease like I did in the Technics RSM88. Now, another thing I want to mention is Hitachi really wants you to have 3 different service manuals to service the D980M. One manual for the actual electronics, that's the D980M manual itself. Also the UD1 transport, which is this one right here. There's a separate manual for that. And because Hitachi is who they are, most of this transport is based on the UD2 transport, so they want you to have that manual as well. But I will tell you right now, I've got all 3 manuals. You can find them online. Just do a Google search. And there's really nothing about the UD2 transport itself that's really very hard to deal with. It's all very intuitive, but mostly the UD1 manual is about dealing with the direct drive stuff in this. And it's got a couple of important notes here I wanted to point out, like this adjusting wow and flutter. Don't really see that from any other company on how to get the wow and flutter down, but Hitachi has you covered here. And you can just read all this on your own time as you desire, but it's important that you do so because let's see if I can show you here. This entire plate here has the drive coils for the direct drive motor on it. So alignment of this plate is very critical, and they want you to scribe it so that you can get it in properly again. So we're going to do that. And this has never been done before on this deck, so I'm kind of thinking this deck has never been serviced before. But the marks they want you to make are up here and along here. And same thing over here. This is just so you can get the magnetic field proper again once it goes back together, because if you know direct drive motors like this, proper gaps between the flywheel and the motor coils is very critical. Otherwise the motor can just not work. Found that out the hard way with my TC-K666ES. Anyhow, that's been done for the very first time ever, so like I said, I'm the first guy to get in here, I think. With that said, you'll remember in the last video I had some reservations about this one PRB belt for the real drive. I'm still not sure if 7.0 is the right internal circumference or not, but you'll remember I was concerned about this width of the belt. Well, as it turns out, there's enough of the belt remaining on this to get a look at what Hitachi used at the factory, and you probably can't see in there. Let me get my flashlight. And what you'll notice is the width of the belt from the factory is about the same as my PRB belt. So I am really debating about what belt I'm going to use on this. Whether or not I'll try for the 5mm belt or whether I'll use the PRW belt, I'm not sure yet. I'll figure that out as I get in there. But first things first, I wanted to let you know that when you get this transport out of the deck, it has this whole big black plastic piece over the front of it. Here it is here. This is just basically to hold on the control panel and buttons. So there's one screw here, one here, and one here. That's all. Easy to deal with. So I figured I'd do that off camera. But before we really get in here, I want to do something real quick first, and that's test the heads for continuity. Oh, and by the way, this black wire here from the head assembly, this is the erase head, I found out. The record and play heads are the same colors. There's blue and gray for the playback, and then the same thing for record. And that the way you tell them apart is the record heads are done up in red on the connector side. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. And yes, we should test these before I get in here and find out the hard way that maybe there's a problem here. So I'll use the new pen type DMM here. We'll try this head first. This is a playback head. We got 400 ohms about on that one. Set that one aside. We'll go to this head, which is a record head. $111 ohms for the recording side. We'll try the other recording head next. Should get around the same value. And we do. Thank goodness for that. Now the last head, 413, a little higher than the other playback head, but still good. And we might as well do the erase head as well while we're here. .8 ohms, we're good there. So we'll shut this off and we will commence to getting into this. I don't know how long this is going to take or how long I'm willing to work on it, but we'll see what we can do here. Part of the problem is I'm going away to Saskatoon at the end of the week for my concert, and I am real stressed out about that, so I'm trying to take it easy on myself this week. So, what shall we do first? Well, I think most of what we need to do is on the back side of this, but we'll just eject real quick and get the beauty plate off, because this has to be done. And off it comes. Now you can see there's no real access to the idler in this from this angle. You have to come at it from the back side on this particular transport, but here we go with the melted rubber belts. Just gotta get them out. Looks like a 1mm belt on this one, but since it is a counter belt, I will probably be going with my 0.7s if I can get them to work. They should work. So let's see, what else do we have here? I don't see any other belt goo. There was some hanging out around this post, which has been cleaned off previously, because again, I did the counter service off camera. Went just the same as the RSM88, except I used oil instead of grease. Again, like I said before, not sure how good these pinch rollers are. Let's do a little test. If I can actually show you what I'm doing here. Will I be replacing pinch rollers today? Let's find out. I'm thinking, no, we're going to be able to save those. This is good. And I definitely want to get the head block off to clean and relube it. You can see all this nasty grease back in there. I want to get rid of that for sure. But I think what we're actually going to do is start with the back of this thing. Okay, so you'll notice that I have already recapped this to the best of my ability. This one here is a 0.15 microfarad cap. I don't have a replacement for that. And in fact, there's a couple of power supply caps I didn't have a replacement for either because they didn't match up to what Hitachi had in their service manual. Because Hitachi things... I'm losing control over my work environment here. Anyhow, this was done. While I was at it, I resoldered a bunch of really bad solder joints under here, so it was just like the main board, or the main audio board in the deck. There is only one thrust adjustment for the flywheels, and it's on the supply side. There does not appear to be any adjustment whatsoever on the take-up side. It's just a rivet or something like that. But with that said, if you look in here, I've got absolutely no play whatsoever on this flywheel. So I don't know if I like that or not. It seems to be moving well enough, so I may just not worry about it. But if it's too tight, it'll affect the wow and flutter. So we'll just have to see where we get at the end of this. But I want to leave the door on the unit first for now, because we do have to get in here. Oh, and by the way, I have reviewed the service manual, and I found out that this connector goes to the two solenoids, and this connector does in fact go back to where I thought it did on the power supply board. And then this one goes to the front panel. You have to make sure that you label these because they are pinned and identically. So look at this, the wiring and all that stuff, that's all identical. So just keep that in mind. So we'll get these wires out of the way. And let me see. We do need to get rid of this screw here to get the yoke plate off, as Hitachi calls it. Now, before I get to those top screws, let me just see here. Do I have play now? Not really, no. Okay, so top screws. This here is an adjustment. I'm not exactly sure what for. This could be our adjustment for the flywheel thrust, or it could not be. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I could leave this in place and just take the reel motor off along with the capstan motor. And I think that's probably what I'll do, at least right now. So bearing in mind that we've already made our marks, and this one's loose, it shouldn't be. Actually, I think I loosened it while I was taking the unit apart because it had ground wires on it. So we'll set that aside. We'll get this other one off. That one was tight. That's good. There's a washer that didn't come off with that. I'll just grab that as well. This is not a lock washer on this one. So if my brain will help me remember that, that'll be great. So I will take this last screw off here for the reel motor, and we should be able to get all this off as an assembly. No washer on that one. So yes, this is a mounting screw for the reel motor. But it's spring-loaded, so it's an adjustment of some sort. So let's see here. Ooh, strong magnet on that flywheel. Real strong. Okay, so that's off, and we got the flywheel out in the open here. We'll just take a quick look at this. real bad grease in here. But mostly what I want to do is I want to take a look at this bearing down here, because there was literally no play. So let me get some cleaning material and we'll clean off the grease and see if that's been wallowed out by years of use, as it were. Yeah, there is a little bit of wear to that. So if I could find a way to back off that that flywheel, that might be good. We'd have to readjust this thrust bearing as well afterwards, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. So while I've got a damp Q-tip here, let's just clean all this old grease out as best we can. Looks like there's a lot of grease down on the actual motor here as well, or the circuit board. Now it looks like this is a different type of grease than on the supply side. Interesting. Real motor belt is obviously stuck to the shaft. There's a piece of it right there. I'll just compare against the size of the new one. And yes, that looks identical, so maybe that is the way forward, even though this pulley will clearly take more belt than that, at least from a width standpoint. Yeah, I'd better take this motor out to properly clean it. And you'll notice that I've got a connector on this thing now. I wasn't dealing with those solder pots on the power supply board. That just didn't look like fun to me, so rather than solder all the time, that's how we're going to do it. Oh, and one thing I should mention is I don't have an idler for this, but I have identified a possible couple of replacements for said idler. Thanks to a wonderful person in Russia, on a post I found, we actually have the measurements for the idler on this thing. It's 26 by 20 by 2 millimeters. And I have identified these two PRB replacements as possible working replacements for this. And I've got two STC-980s coming, but they aren't here yet. So we're going to have to just make do and hope I can get the deck working with what I have here, because I'm not sure what I can do for this exactly at the moment. Might not be able to get this finished today, but we'll try. Okay, the motor is out and I'm seeing concerning things here. We've got belt in by where the shaft is, so that is ungood if it got into the bearing. But we will do our best to deal with it, should we need to. Let's try to get some more of this belt residue off. Pulley does not look great at all. I know the motor works because I heard it work while I was testing this off camera before I started even working on the deck. Okay, I think we're safe with the shaft. I don't think anything got into it. However, since I've got it right here in the open, I'll just go ahead and add a little bit of oil to the front bearing. Now I gotta get into the acetone and really go to town on this pulley. So give me a second and I'll clean it up. Okay, so the real motor has been cleaned up, and or rather the pulley's been cleaned up. I ended up having to do a light polish on it with the autosol. It wasn't really coming clean any other way, but that's the best I could get it without taking too much material off. This green stuff is all the way down in the grooves. There's kind of a knurled surface or something like that on here, and I can't quite get down all the way into there to polish that out, but I think it'll work fine as is. So I will put this back in and we will get started with the big stuff, the flywheels. Okay, now we're gonna get into the mess here. But before we do, we have to take off the oil control washers on the other side, but just wanted to point this out to you real quick. You can kind of see the little set screws on this that would enable you to take this magnet off and do a thorough relubing job, but I really have a problem with possibly taking off set screws that are this small. Sometimes they break on you if you do that, so I've decided I'm just not going to do that, and that's why I use the oil instead of grease on that. But we'll go around to the front here and we'll get the oil control washers off. Ejecting will help us with that. And I want to relube the entire door assembly as well, because it's not moving quite as well as it should be. But that's for later. Oh, we've got a couple of oil control washers already coming off the this side here. I don't know how it managed to do that, because I didn't really try to pull that flywheel out yet. No matter. We've actually got two washers here. One is the usual oil control washer, and the other one is a felt washer that is designed to sort of trap the oil against the capstan. I don't see that in too many decks these days of what I service, but just kind of shows you Hitachi's attention to detail on this particular mechanism. And this is part of Hitachi's directions on minimizing wow and flutter. They want a millimeter's worth of clearance in behind the front plastic washer in order to reduce wow and flutter. I'm trying to do this in such a way that I don't destroy these felt washers. Okay, come on off. There we go. I got that set off as a unit. Put those to the side, out of the way. Close the door back up. Come around back here. And you can see this thing flapping around in the breeze over here. That's part of the eject damper mechanism. That's why they call it an air damp mechanism. It's kind of trippy the way it works. Anyhow, zoom out for you. And now we'll take this flywheel out. Feels fairly well lubed yet. So here's the flywheel. The belt surface is the little one, or the little plastic inset area. So it's a little easier to not get dirty on that if you handle it that way. Got one washer here that will have to go back on exactly where it came from. And we'll get the supply side out. Once again, felt really well lubed. A little bit of a weird shape to it because of the way the deck is built, but it's fine. I'm going to put this one down on my paper towel because it's going to get belt goo everywhere if I don't. One more washer to remove, which almost went flying. I'm going to put that one up by the oil control washers for that particular capstan. And here we can see the actual idler assembly. We'll be dealing with that shortly because we have to do it from exactly from where we are right now. Okay, so I got some hardcore cleaning up to do. Very hardcore. Let me get the WD-40 because I know I'm going to need it for this. WD-40 just kind of cuts through the through all the goo here to help get it off, and I don't think I'll be using acetone on this other flywheel because of how it is. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with that yet, but I'll figure it out. For now, we'll do this one first because that's going to be the easy one. Lots of WD-40 to just cut through all the old belt goo and get it off. And then once again, you have to clean off the WD-40 if you do this trick, because it will destroy the new belt if we don't do it. And we definitely don't want our new belt destroyed, and even the WD-40 is having trouble with this. Hopefully this belt hasn't gone hygroscopic like the CT-970, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe it already has. We will get this cleaned up, you mark my words. If I have to polish it, then I have to polish it, but I want to get the belt goo as gone as possible before I make that call, because polishing takes a long time, especially with autosol, because it's a fairly non-abrasive polish. That's why people use it for polishing heads. This is as bad as the CT-970, I can already tell, but I will go at it as hard and heavy as I have to in order to get it cleaned up, including the polishing, if I must. Okay, I'm going to finish polishing this one off camera. I will set it to the side for now, up where the rest of its parts are. Throw away these paper towels already. Get a new one out. I'm going to use iso alcohol first on this other one, because I think it'll clean up a lot better than the supply side. And in fact, that is the case. It's easily coming off of this one, so no acetone necessary for this side of the equation. Maybe 3 or 4 paper towels are necessary, but whatever it takes. Oh yeah, this one's going to be easy to clean up. This one does not need any sort of extra attention. This plastic is just letting it come off easy peasy. And as always, we want to be careful around this, because this is a magnet. You don't want anything stuck to this when it goes back together. That would be bad. But this guy's already clean. Took no time at all. Yeah, that one's ready to go back in already. The other side, not so much. Well, folks, here it is. Best I can get it. There is a lot of hygroscopic damage on here. And when I say hygroscopic, that just means the old belt starts accumulating moisture, and it gets in and starts corroding the actual flywheel. Had this happen on the CT-970 and one other deck I can't think of right now, and now this one, and shouldn't affect the wow and flutter too much, but it will affect it some. I've got a bit more cleaning on this to do yet, because my gloves are kind of full of autosol, but I can worry about that later. I don't want to take the gloves off now because I've got the reel drive section to do yet. And when I say autosol for doing these flywheel polishings, this is the stuff I use for that. It's the liquid stuff, not the paste stuff. Usually the paste stuff actually works better, like this stuff here. But the problem with the paste stuff is if you're going to use a Dremel tool like I used, the Dremel will catch this stuff and just throw it right off the flywheel. The liquid stuff stays on better. That's why I use that for flywheels. But I think I've got it good enough that it's serviceable at least. We will find out for sure once the deck goes back together, but I'm going to put this out of the way now with its other little buddy. Throw yet another paper towel away, and then we'll drag this down. Zoom out, and then we'll start on this. So this is the take-up drive flywheel right here, or not flywheel, pulley. There's a pinion attached to this that drives the take-up idler. And just kind of taking a look here at the spring situation. Looks like all we need to do to get this out is just release this screw here. I'm going to go ahead and do this because I want to lubricate this pivot. We'll take the screw and put it over there, and there is a spring down in here to watch out for. So I'm going to try to get that spring out of the way, or released anyway, and then we'll pull this off because this needs cleaning badly. And I will release the spring, which has now gone over and trapped itself against the take-up spindle. And this is going to have to be cleaned up. Terrific. I'm going through the cleaning supplies on this one for sure. Thankfully, this should be easy to deal with. It's moving fairly well. I won't even try to take this off because I don't think it's possible without doing damage, but we'll clean the pinion as well. I think it's brass. Actually, I might be able to polish that, but I'm not sure if I have to. So let's clean this up. Oh yeah, it's coming off easy on this thing. Melted rubber on plastic is easy to deal with. Melted rubber on metal, well, you just saw what I had to deal with there on the flywheels. Okay, so I got it cleaned up as best as I can. I decided not to bother polishing the pinion. I think it's fine. There might be a little bit of rubber goo in there yet, but not too bad. I might do another pass with acetone, but we'll see. But what I want to do right now is I want to get some oil in here to lubricate it, because I will not be able to get grease in there. Let's see if I can find a way to do this. There's going to be an oil control washer in there somewheres. Yeah, I see it, but I'm past it, and in with the compressor oil. That should keep that happy. Now I'll just grab a little acetone and I will try to get this pinion just a little bit cleaner. I'm trying to keep this Q-tip away from the rest of the plastic, because I don't know if this is good for it, this acetone. But actually I can test that. This should be all right. And no, the acetone is not melting that. So acetone safe, this plastic. So I'm going to stop worrying about that now. And now I can really clean that pinion. So I will come in, or zoom in, and we will get the reel drive assembly out. This is where you have to do all your servicing work on this transport for the idler setup. Has to all be done back here. Two identical screws, and try to grab that little spring that got away from me there for the take-up idler. I'll just get it out of the way and I'll pull this out. Maybe. What are we hung up on? We've got a spring. That's what we're hung up on. I gotta release that spring. We can see it from this side. Rather, I can see it, you can't. It's just right up here. So we'll disconnect that spring so we can remove the idler assembly. This is much easier than the last Hitachi I did. Gotta tell ya. Spring is released, and we should be able to just, yeah, there we go. Spring is now missing, great. Or is it? I've got a spring that's loose here. Probably can't see that. I don't know if that is the spring though. So I gotta figure out where this other spring goes yet. So the one that I disconnected just now will probably come to this point right here because this is about where it was. I do believe this is how the deck sits, or how it sits in the deck. This side up. Then the spring goes on here and then goes around to that thing I was working on. And I can see that thing I was working on there has a lot of bad grease on it, so have to deal with that too. Okay, just having a look here. This gear is split. Terrific. Maybe that's a problem, maybe it isn't a problem. We'll have to see what the fast forward and rewind do, because play operates directly through that pinion I showed you before, through this idler tire here, and this is the one that's hard to replace on this transport. And mine is rock hard, so it has to be replaced. I gotta get started working on this. Oh, there's a felt clutch in there as well, I'm seeing, right down in there. But the gear does turn on the shaft. And in fact, it's working its way off as I speak to you. Oh, there's another felt clutch back in here as well. Oh boy, dual felt clutches. My favorite thing. Okay, so I did a little cleanup off camera. This is much cleaner than it was, and I've decided I'm going to go ahead and try to super glue that gear back on a little better, with the hopes that it'll hold a little better, because if it presses in too far, then it doesn't do the clutch action where it flips back and forth to actuate the reel tables. If it comes out too far, there will be no torque for fast forward and rewind, so I would rather eliminate that as a possibility on this. So just taking a look here, I don't think I have much to worry about back here. So yeah, and then in taking this gear off, we then have access to this shaft to relube it properly with the grease. Okay, let's work this gear off. I was going to say it almost doesn't want to come off now, but it's coming. There it comes. Trying to grab the pieces here. There's the gear with the felt clutch on the back. We'll clean that as well. Might as well while we're in here. Now we've got the idler. And we've got the spring. Or at least the front spring. There's another one back here. And on the back we've got the rest of the assembly here. There's a washer and the big pulley coming off now. The other spring, and then whatever the heck is in here. There will be another spring back in here for this felt clutch back on the back here. And it's important to note that this side with the four little tabs on it goes towards the back of the assembly. It's this side that the front section was attached to, because there's these four little tabs on this piece here that engage with the four tabs on the pulley. You're keeping all this straight, I hope, because I don't know if I am. I'll zoom out a bit so you can actually see better. Now, putting it back together, how do I want to do this? Well, we need this first, obviously, and the spring, and the pulley. Take the spring off real quick and we'll do some greasing. Just a light swipe ought to do of the Mullicoat EM30L. Okay, that's back on. We need the it's back on wrong because I forgot the spring. Okay, spring's back on. I'm not sure about taking this assembly apart, so I'm going to oil this. Oh, and it's split too. Dang it. You can see the split right there. Well, maybe now you can. But that should be okay, I think. I don't think I need to do anything about that. This arm is just here to hold the gear in place. That's all. So let me get a little bit of my compressor oil down in here. It's always a risk on all these really old decks, is coming up against a situation where things are split and broken, because plastic and metal shrink and expand at different rates, so that's why they get broken like that. Okay, so I got the idler assembly back together. Almost didn't go well at all, because I put it together wrong about 2 different times before I put it together right, but I think it's gonna work now. As long as I didn't get too much super glue on the felt clutch, that is. Had to clean that off once already, but I think I got it good now, so hopefully it stays good. Had to take my gloves off in order to do this because I just couldn't feel what I was doing and all that other stuff, so should be all right, I hope. Now I can try to treat this with rubber renew, but I don't think it's going to take on this idler, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with this yet. But like I said, I've got idlers incoming for it, so I think what I'll do is I'll try to get an O-ring out of my O-ring kit for this, and we'll see how that works out. I have to clean out the belt residue from this pulley here, because that's where the counter belt runs, and the counter belt was as bad as everything else in this, or as bad a belt as there was for anything Hitachi. But now that I don't have my gloves on anymore, I don't want to get my hands too dirty, so I will do my best here, and I will clean out that belt residue, and then we'll get this reel table off, I think. Okay, so I went off camera for a while, and I decided to go ahead and check my footage on this one spring, and I'll show you how it goes. If I can get the gimbal to cooperate, it's just... I am just about done with DJI products. I gotta tell ya. Anyhow, this is how that spring goes. Not the easiest thing to figure out. The service manuals for both the UD1 and UD2 were no help at all with this, but this is how it goes. It's a real loose spring, so it'll probably try and escape on you if it ever, or if you ever try to take this apart, but just thought I'd show that to you. And there's another felt clutch in here I should talk to you about. It's just right down in here at the bottom of the reel table. I don't think we need to do anything with it. I just thought I'd mention it. And I'm going to do both reel tables. I just wanted to do this one on camera with you. So we've got a non-split washer to take off here. If we can get it off. It's just easiest to do with my fingernails and my thumbnail here. But I got it off. No problem. And this should come off. It's real gummed up with old grease. I figured it would be. Or it's actually probably old oil. Could be old grease. I use grease and not oil on these reel tables, because grease is oil in suspension. Grease will last longer in this particular application. But oil doesn't hurt either. It's just you have to go in and clean it and re-oil it more often that way. I've never really had too much trouble using grease instead of oil here. If I can get this little washer up, maybe I can clean underneath it as well. Here it comes. Just give it a quick pass with the Q-tip there. Just a drop of grease. A little bit more grease there. It should be ready to go, but I want to take a look at this idler here. Or rather, I should get another pipe cleaner out and go through this to clean out the inside of the reel table, because it's going to need to be re-greased. And look at all the nastiness that's coming out of there. That's why I'm doing this. And I will confirm the Russian page's measurements right now. Yeah, that is hard as a rock, and it's not going to work. Rubber renew will not fix that. I can tell you that immediately. Okay, so I'll measure diameter back installed again also. But yeah, 26 millimeters, that's the Russian measurement right there. And thickness of the tire is 2.4. So that's a little bit different from the Russian measurements. Inner diameter is 20.8. Let me check my calculations here. Well, that idler, that PRB idler I've got coming in may work and it may not. 1.8 mil thickness. Okay, so again, 26 millimeters external diameter. Subtract 5 millimeters to get the internal diameter, which is, well, roughly 20.7, and then 1.8. So when I put this back together, I'll try to route the wires so that I can get it into it a little easier. That way I can easily replace this with the real idler after I get it, but clearly this needs a new idler, so it's going to get one. So I'm going to put it back on real quick here, because I want to remeasure the outer diameter with it installed, because I didn't do that earlier. Okay, it's back on. We'll reconfirm. Yeah, 26 millimeters. Okay, let me see if I can find an O-ring that'll work, because this will not work. This is no way gonna work. Okay, so I, in fact, had a brand new idler that works on this. I'll show you what it is in a second, but I cannot believe that this worked. It is rather tight because it's not the correct size, but it works. Can't believe it. I actually don't know that I need to try my new PRB idlers that I've got coming in now because this works so well, but this actually came from Fix Your Audio, and it is this size right there. I actually ordered 2 of these because I thought they were the right ones for the JVC transports, and in fact they're not the right size. I almost used the right size as a temporary fix on this one, but I'm glad I didn't, because it turns out those improperly ordered ones are perfect for this application. Cannot believe it. I'll show you what they measure as installed. Look at that, 26.2. It's going to work. As far as the O-rings go, I can get, I think, 25 millimeters or 28 millimeters, and that's the best I can do with those. I'll show you what I have in the O-ring kit here. I tried, let's see, I tried this size. That's the 25 millimeter outer diameter I was mentioning. And then the next size up, that's 28 millimeters. And there's no in between with this O-ring kit that I could find. Even when I tried to put in one of the 1 millimeter O-rings, it only brought the outer diameter down to 27 with the 24 by 2.4 mil O-rings. So I have yet to find an O-ring out of this kit that will work as an idler. Wasted my money. But thanks to Fix Your Audio, we've got a working idler on the take-up. It's in perfect shape. We can just trash this one now, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay, sheet of 3000 grit. I'll just lightly sand the surface of the idler just to give it a little bit of a bite. And this should work well, I think, as long as the rest of the deck works well. So glad I had that idler, because I don't know what I would have done without it. Except I'll give the idler a little bit of a clean since we did sand it. Again, just using 3000 grit. You don't want to go too nuclear with the with an idler tire, because you'll get it out of round and then it'll get wow and flutter galore. So I will take the reel table assembly here. Do just a little swipe of grease and then we'll reinstall. And like I said, I will do the other side off camera. The other side's nothing special. I'll do the other side once I can get the O-ring back on this side, like I just did. So this deck should be working well now that I've actually got the right idler on it. So we shall see. Anyway, the back tension on this, well, I think there might be a back tension brake on the other side of the transport on this one, but there is a little spring to be aware of on the supply side here. Bring you in so you can see how this is built, because you might need that information. See, there's that little spring down there, and then the idler or then the reel table, and yeah, not too hard to deal with. All right, there it is. The take-up drive assembly is back together and should be fully functional now. We'll find out if it is for sure later. For now, we've got to get some more belt goo out of this transport. So I'm going to put this assembly out of the way for now. And now we've got a bunch of melted belt residue over by the solenoid here, and we have to lubricate this as well somehow. And won't that be fun? So, yeah, that's pretty tight in there. So how do I remove the solenoid? Can I even remove the solenoid? It looks really difficult. Well, maybe not. We've got 2 screws, it would seem, but we're going to have to be careful to put the solenoid back in the way it's supposed to go back in. That was tight. And I've got belt goo all over my tools now. Of course I do. Yeah, that head block's going to need to be lubricated. For sure. That'll be fun to figure out, but we'll figure that out later. Okay, I'll try to get my fingers under here to hold on to the solenoid. Yeah, it's just the 2 screws. And let's see here. Free up the wire clip here. And we'll just pull the solenoid. Look at this nightmare. Yuck, 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 yuck. Just taking a look to see what we've got in here. Got a lot of greasing to do in here. But I gotta clean off this belt residue. Any questions on as to whether the capstan belt ended up? Because there's not much of a mystery on that one. Most of it's down here on the solenoid. The rest of it was attached to the flywheels. Okay, that's moving well. No service needed for that. I was concerned about maybe getting some belt goo stuck inside here, but it's perfect. Not going to worry about it. So we need to go over here and deal with this mess. Yeah, that's gummed up. So we'll unscrew. This is what raises the head block into place for playback. I've got belt goo under this too, and there's this little catch here, or a little hook. This goes underneath the head block plate, apparently. And yeah, this pivot's all gummed up, so what I'm going to have to do there is I'm going to have to spray iso alcohol into there using a syringe. It's usually the way I deal with that. Okay, let's squirt this in here and clean this out. All right, that ought to do the trick. And I will use this iso dampened paper towel to get some of the belt goo off my hands again. And it's still not moving well, this linkage. But it will, you just watch. Here comes the ISO 46 compressor oil. Beautiful. We are smooth sailing now, it looks like. Now on the other side of the transport, I got something to clean up. Just right down in here. I'm trying to clean up where this arm pulls up on the head block. I think I got it, but I can't really see it too well. Yeah, I got it. So we got some greasing to do. Oh, we got to clean out some grease too. We got to clean out some grease from down in that little slot there. We'll just get a Q-tip in there and we'll just go to town. Keep seeing movement out of the corner of my eye, but it's always the air damp mechanism, those little fan vanes. So we'll start greasing. Put some on there for good measure. Grab yonder solenoid and I'll put some grease here because I think it's the long side that goes down into that slot. And we'll see if we can just reinstall it now. Run it backwards to catch the thread, which by the way, that trick works on metal screws too. But it's more helpful with the plastic screws because plastic threads, you don't want them to pull out. That's ungood, losing plastic threads. Okay, now, how am I going to do this? I gotta somehow get a screw on my screwdriver while holding this whole mechanism in place. Okay, and right here is the little hook I was talking about on that linkage. It just goes right up in here. So I may or may not have to remove that again later. We'll see, because I do want to get the head block off this thing for relubrication. But anyway, we are moving right along here. I have yet to clean the capstan bearings. Probably should do that. This linkage up here, which you can't see, really needs to be re-greased, but that might be possible from the front. Yeah, I think that's possible from the front. At least that's how I'm going to try to do it. That's where that spring attaches, though, so I have to be careful of that. Brake shoes have a bunch of belt goo on them, which is now all over my fingers. Of course it is. I'm finding belt goo in places I don't want to find belt goo, I'm sure, at the end of the day. I'm going to go to bed and go to sleep, and I'm probably going to find a bunch of belt goo sitting under my pillowcase or something, or under my pillow. That's the way this is working out, and I've got, look at this. It's just getting all over the place here. There's now some on the door. This is fun. I love playing in belt goo. Hitachi and Aiwa, picking the worst belts possible. But yeah, I will worry about relubing that arm from the front side later. I'm going to start putting the back side back together because I think it's about ready to go back together. I don't think I need to do anything with the damping mechanism back here. It's working really quite well. This big spring here will have to be disconnected later because that's how you get the door off, but I am not going to worry about this. What I am kind of worried about is maybe this switch being dirty. But come to think of it, the deck was actually trying to work before, so I don't think it really needs to be done that part of it. So my question is, do I have to put that spring back on now, or can I wait until I'm into the front of this thing that goes on this thing? Oh, and the molding has been broken here. So maybe this was a part before. Maybe I do need a 5mm belt on that reel drive. Maybe I won't worry about it just now. Okay, is this the right way? Or is it the wrong way? I think it's actually the wrong way, because the take-up needs to go this way. Not a lot of threads to bite on in that one. Not as long as it bites. I guess it doesn't matter. And that's the important thing with these plastic screws. That one, you kind of want to run back to find the threads, because if you pull threads out of that, then you might not get this to bite anymore, because there's really not that many threads holding that. And we got to get our little idler arm here. It's moving well, no squealing. I'm going to put a little molly coat inside the pivot here. Now remember, the spring is on the other side of the mechanism, and I probably have to go locate it first before I try and put this back in. Heck, where the hell is it? I think I see it, but I need to take the idlers back out again, or the reel drive back out again, in order to get that spring over to where it needs to be, because it's kind of way unloaded right now. Oh, what a nightmare. Okay, and the spring in question is the one you can see dangling there. I'm just going to make sure there's no belt goo on that. Okay. So I'm going to have to pull this down out of the way while I install the reels, and then I'll have to pull it further down in order to get the idler. Well, actually, I can leave my dental pick in there like that. That might work. Because if I leave the dental pick in there, I can easily get things back in order on this side. Use my finger there to pull up on the mech and try and drop this assembly back in. And now I can get the arm back in. Let me back you off because it's impossible for me to show this very well. I need to put some grease on this arm some more. See if I can do this. Crap, my dental pick is currently holding that spring out of the way. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop this back in right now. Pull the dental pick, and then I'll grease from the other side maybe. All right, spring is in place. And that is that. We are just about ready to start reinstalling belts and other wonderful things. I'd really like to get the back side of this done today so I can come back on Wednesday or Thursday and finish the rest. Okay, so I will get the acetone here and a pipe cleaner. And I don't always do this, but on a deck this old, I'm going to chase the capstan bearings with the acetone pipe cleaner. Just straight through. And when you do this, you have to check for debris being left behind. And I only use one pipe cleaner per capstan bearing. Check to see if there's any lint or stuff inside the capstan bearings. And I need to blow one out, the take-up side. Give me a second. Okay, rocket blower to the rescue. Do the other one just in case. It won't hurt. And I will recheck to be sure that the gunk is out of there. Not that there was much. Oh yeah, we're good now. Beautiful. Not exactly sure how they're doing the dual capstan closed loop system on this deck. The one concern I have is I didn't spot any particular facility to adjust the supply side pinch roller and entry guide alignment. I don't know why they would do it that way, but apparently they did it that way. We'll get more into that when we get to the front side of this, I guess. But for now, I'm going to go in with the ISO 46 compressor oil. And if I can get my brain to tell me exactly where I put these washers and oil keepers, I'll just put them back where they came from. I think I know. I'm not sure. I think the upper one is for supply side. Okay, I did the back side of the bearings, and we'll do the front now. Kind of hard to do because the door is on yet, but there's a little cassette pop-up mechanism here that is in the way. So I'm just going to have to get a bunch of oil in there and just let it soak. Okay, folks, so I went back to the site. I found the measurements for the idler tires, and it appears that he's got measurements for the capstan belt and the real drive belt as well, so I thought we'd go over those. And I have to apologize. It's not a Russian site. It's a Belarusian site. So my apologies for that. Anyhow, what we've got here are a little bit of a discrepancy from what I've got sitting on my bench over there. And these are the belt measurements right here that he has given. And what we've got are length divided by 2 of 120 by 4.5 by 0.5 millimeters. That'll be the intercapstan belt, which will probably correspond to a 240 millimeter internal circumference belt. And that is bigger than the one I've got. That turns out to be about 9.4 inches internal circumference. However, I do have belts that should work. I've got FRSP 9.6s. Those should be considerably better than the 8.0s that I've actually got from PRB. So either way, I'm covered. But on the real drive section, what he's got here is 90 by 4.5 by 0.5. And that corresponds exactly to my Decktech belt that I've got sitting there waiting for this deck. So I'm probably going to use that one now. And I'll just probably forego the use of the thin PRB belt. Like I said, I suspect that this deck has been rebelted before, so I'm not sure. Anyway, I will go with the suggestions he has here, probably, and we'll see what works out. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. But I gotta show you this. He's got measurements of his D-980M. Man, I hope mine does this, because look at this response below 20 Hertz. If mine does that, oh man, it's going to be way better than the Pioneer CTF-900. So I cannot wait to hear mine. Okay, same day for me, another day for you. Or vice versa. My brain's all confused. As is normal. Anyway, we're going to get the front part of this transport dealt with today. But before we do, I just wanted to let you know that the capstan motor and stuff has been reinstalled. Everything's back together. And I should tell you a little bit about the belt I chose for the capstan, because there's some stuff to talk about there. First off, this is the real belt I installed. I just went ahead and did the 5mm Decktech. Figured that was the best option for it, so it's in there. And this is the capstan belt I chose on this. Reason being, I think the Nakamichi.by measurement was a bit of a typo. See, I looked at his other article based on the same deck, and he gives a different measurement in that part. He says 220 millimeters internal circumference instead of 240 millimeters. So with that knowledge, and with the fact that I know that someone has previously recommended my 8.0 internal circumference belt, 8-inch as it were, I decided to split the difference and go for this belt. This is about 230 millimeters internal circumference, and I believe it will work. I'll show you how it is in there, if I can. It's not going to be easy on this transport because of very little accessibility in there, but you can kind of see it. Well, maybe if I go like this. Maybe not. Well, there you go. You can see it there. It seems like it's riding okay, but just a little bit off to the side. But with that said, I don't think you would want to go any looser at all on this belt. I think the 9.6-inch internal circumference belt, the FRSP 9.6, I think that would be way too loose. I think 220 millimeters is the actual measurement, but I didn't have that, so I'm going with the 9.1-inch internal circumference from Fix Your Audio here. And this is basically Fix Your Audio's equivalent to an FRSP 8.97. It's a little bit looser than that, but I think it'll work. The real test will be to come when it fires up, and we'll see if the belt slips off of it or something, or moves. But for now, we got to get the rest of this done, so we're going to get it done. Now the door has to come off. Ejecto Doro. Get that screwdriver out of my way. I'm just taking a look at how this is. Okay, just these two screws on the bottom for the door, I think. And then the cassette pop-up mechanism after that. We'll worry about that in a second, but we have to disconnect this spring back here so that the door can actually come off. Well, that flew right open, didn't it? Kind of needs that spring there, doesn't it? Anywho, I gotta quit fooling around here and we gotta get this door off. Which is kind of hard to do reaching around the camera like this, but that's the way I'm doing it for now. Okay, looks like we might have a spring coming up with us, but the door is off. I can figure out springs and stuff later. I'm usually pretty good at doing stuff like that, so let me remove this hinge altogether because it has to come off. The hinges are part of what holds the head block down, and I want to do service on the head block. So, door is off. We'll let it go over there. Let's see, does this other hinge have to come off? No. And now we're down into this thing, which has to be removed. And I think I will do that from this side over here. Maybe. There's a bit of a hinge component over here as well, so I don't know exactly how I'm dealing with this. But we got to come back here to disconnect that spring. There we go. That's all done. So I'll take out this one screw over here. Okay, does this not even come off this pin? Looks like it does not. So I might have to detach from over here as well. Actually, I'm going to take this spring off and put it next to the door because that's where it goes. I think maybe this linkage has to come off as well. Which has a bunch of springs on it and a bunch of other linkages. But maybe I can just pop this up enough to get this thing off. Maybe not. We've got literally 2 springs on this linkage, so I want to be sure that I know exactly where those springs go later. Oh, having so much fun I am. Oh, and of course it just falls off now. Whatever. Okay, I'll take my other screw here, put it next to the bracket it goes with. And we'll put this back down where it goes for good measure, so we don't lose nothing. If I can get it to go back down in there, which I have. And now we're getting closer to getting access to the head block, which is the main thing I wanted to do under here. I want to relube the head block, the brakes, and the brake actuation assembly, because it's all very stiff and uncooperative right now. Okay, just studying what I've got going on here in preparation for removing head block. Oh, and I've just noticed we've got a problem here. We do have an actual back tension brake, but it has detached itself from where it's supposed to be. That's it right there. And it's extremely dirty as well, so I'm going to have to get out the contact cement and reattach that to that little area, which I will do probably when the head block is off, because it's easier for me to do something with it from there. Get the wires all out of the way here, and pinch rollers are going to have to come off next. They look identical, so have to keep that in mind, I guess. I just don't know what is going on with them not making this adjustable. It's like a completely fixed entry guide height here. Just unusual. So I guess however this works out is going to have to be the way it is. Okay, that roller is loose. We'll tuck this up out of the way for now. I'll grab the spring for it too, just to be safe. I'm going to leave these two springs in place because they appear to not need to be removed. Okay, I'm already seeing areas where I have to start cleaning grease off. Like over here where this old dried grease is for the door. Not exactly sure what type of grease I need to use on the door, but I'll try my molly coat or something like that, and then if that opens too fast, then I can put something else in. Man, this grease is really old and really dry and really not good anymore. Okay, what do I need to do next? These two brackets, apparently, because they are holding the head block in, and we've got ball bearings underneath these things. One of which just tried to escape. We'll get this side. There's going to be another ball bearing, I'm sure, along with this little weird washer. And I apologize, but it looks like I will not have time to do any testing once this is back together. So I think we'll probably save that for a third video. Testing and wow and flutter and whatever else the deck needs at the time, because it's from '79, so it's probably going to need more than I'm giving it right now. What else do I need to disconnect? Not much, apparently. Just this one little spring up here for the brakes. And I am quite concerned about brake engagement on this, because the solenoid goes down that way, and it's supposed to pull the brakes out of the way up over here, but I don't think it can actually. But there are pieces of the mech that aren't installed right now, so I'm not 100% sure on that. So the head block should be able to come off now. Have to disengage it from this hook on the bottom. I heard something release. I'm going to have to figure out what that something was. I knew that spring was going to fall off for the brakes. I'll put that up and out of the way too. I don't see any ball bearings under here, which is kind of curious to me. But it's probably this arm right here that's that did the twang thing and just kind of dropped like that. So it'll be interesting to see if I can get this back together. Okay, I see. That little bar is what drops the head block down on stop. That's what that's for. That's why it went twang. So let me pull the head block off again, because we do have a lot of work to do under here. But I'll set it aside for now, just taking a look at what else I gotta do. So yes, just the this linkage and this linkage has to come out, and I went ahead and put this all the way back together on the capstan side without realizing I would have to have that spring out. So I hope I can deal with this spring from here without losing it. Because if I got to take this back apart, I'm going to be irritated. I'll use my cassette belt removal tool in order to do this. Just grabbing the spring now. See if I can get it with tweezers. Yeah, there we go. I got it. So I know where that one goes for sure. So I'll put it back up with the, or I'll put it up with the other little piece of brake mechanism. And now I can get these linkages out so I can clean them. Easy peasy. And let's see, this is the one that controls that switch, so I'm not going to be able to remove it because the spring goes in from behind, as we saw. I will lube under it in place. I think I can do that. As for this guy, I don't know if that needs to come off or not, but I got access right now. This may be a mistake because it goes all the way down through the deck, and this arm does something. I don't know exactly what. But we might as well take the whole front of this thing apart just to have fun. Okay, we got to start cleaning, so we're going to start cleaning. First off, pipe cleaner up in here where that pin was. Let's see, any other place I need to use a pipe cleaner? Probably not. And I think I will grease as I go with this. That way I can keep track of what I'm having to grease here. There was no screw there, so I'm not worried about blocking that hole. Let's see, what else do I gotta grease? Or clean? Or clean then grease? Just trying to figure out where everything rides and goes. Okay, we've got two slots in the head block here that correspond to these posts. So I'm going to want to grease those. They don't look like they're ever had any grease, but they're going to get grease now because that's where the head block rides. Kind of weird. Just two ball bearings and plastic guides on this thing, I guess. And if you look at the head block, they actually were greased, but on the top side, and I just don't know if that's very ideal. And I will start cleaning off all the nasty old grease on this, which has gone so rock hard that iso alcohol isn't doing much to it. So that means it's time for the acetone to come out. Good luck fighting acetone, you old bad grease. And one more hit off the isotone, or the acetone. Isotone? That's not what we're doing here. Even with the acetone, it's taking a little scrubbing to get this crap off. But that's fine. Whatever we have to do is exactly what we'll do. Okay, now what do I want to lubricate? Now that I've gone in and cleaned all this up. Well, I got these two posts, and I got that one up there, which is one that had grease on it before, but I'm going to spread a little grease under here as well. Simply because there was grease here. And we'll just see how this is. I'm not going to fully reinstall it yet because I got to deal with this back tension brake, but just want to see how it goes in. Not quite enough tension from the spring over here, but that may alleviate itself when the deck is up like this, because, oh yeah, gravity will help pull that down. So, got some more lubing to do. Got to do this area up in here. And I guess I will set this down right here, or off to the side, I guess. And I want to take a look under here to see what I need to get grease on. Like I said, I'm not going to remove this arm because that's asking for trouble, but it's moving pretty well. I'm happy. Just going to do a little bit more grease under here because it looks like the head block rides over top of this. Now I will grab this pin and this arm and we'll work on this, I guess, because I want to get the that one spring reinstalled as soon as possible. Yeah, this old grease isn't responding to anything short of acetone. It's just terrible. And this is why you have to go to the lengths I'm going to service something like this, because this just would not work properly if I didn't do this. But shouldn't need to be done again for like 40 years after I'm done. I have no idea how long Molykote EM30L lasts, but should last a decently long time. And while that is still damp with acetone, we'll go ahead and grab the brakes and clean that up too. And I will give a swipe over the brake pads as well, just to clean them up. Acetone shouldn't hurt anything there. I use the stuff to clean brake or pinch rollers, after all. I was going to say brake rollers. Duh. Okay, so if my brain could helpfully tell me how this goes back in, I believe it goes like so. I'm not going to worry about that spring just yet, because we do have to get this stuff back in, and this is going to need a lot of lube. I'll just try to go with a light coating for that, and we'll see if we can get this back in now. This is really what I'm worried about most here, is whether or not the brakes will actually function properly, because they sure didn't when I first got this. Okay, that's moving pretty well. Now to see if I can get this big spring back in. Wish me luck on this. Oh, there we go. I got it. I know that pin's not in place yet, but I got to get the... there we go. Had to get this tab underneath the thingamadoodle there. Let me shove some of that grease up in here. I want lots of grease up in there. And I will grease the pin just right on the end here. I think this is how this goes back together. Watch me be wrong. I knew that spring was going to cause problems if I did it this way. Where's the hole? I just don't know about this. Something's not right here. But then again, I don't have that one spring here. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. That's basically how the factory had it anyway, so... don't know what more I can do with that. Anyhow, time to move on and probably reattach that back tension brake. which is going to be fun. I have another kind of contact cement now that I'm debating using. This stuff, but I tried to use this stuff on my camera gimbal. The clip was losing its perspicacity, and this didn't really attach it that well, so let me think about this. Okay, tried the 1357. It is not holding. So I don't know if I just got a bad container of this stuff or not, but I did follow the instructions, and it should be working. I don't know why it isn't. But I'm going to have to do this all over again because this is not holding. See? Just came right off. Wasting my time, wasting my time. I love wasting my time. Clean up the felt pad yet again. Probably remnants of old glue. That actually might be the problem, is old glue on the felt pad. Maybe I should be putting a new felt pad on. I think I will do that, honestly, because that was really dirty. Give me a second. Okay, so there you have it. Brand new back tension brake installed, and the 1357 is working on this one. So that was the problem, is the old adhesive on the original pad. I used the same felt I used on the JVC D-7, so if you want to know what to use there, then that's what I used. It's F50 felt, the thinnest I could get from the felt store. And it's going to have to work because I'm not putting the old felt back on now. I'm throwing it away. So I think we can continue with this now. And hopefully I clean the hub of that particular reel table. I don't know if I did or not. So we'll just do it now real quick. Oh, and it's a good thing I'm cleaning it. So I got to get the other one too, because I don't know if I did that one either. Who knows what kind of belt goo is on here. And we have to get all that belt goo off because obviously the back tension brake is going to be on that surface. And we don't want it contaminated. Oh yeah, I forgot we have to come up with a set of counter belts as well for this machine. Now I'll put the head block back to the side again. We'll let that contact cement continue to cure up a little bit. I want to pull this back down here, and I want to start getting this this big black linkage back in place because I'm kind of forgetting how it goes now. And there's a black arm in here. If I can just untangle things, that engages with this hook here. So I'm guessing that's the actuation arm for the one that I'm about to reinstall. And I know there's a spring here that's kind of all over the place, but whatever. A little grease on that pivot. And let's see, how did this go back in? And that wasn't the pivot at all. The pivot is the lower one. Of course it is. Just watch me make mistakes. That's all you're here to do, I guess, today. Like I said, I hope this works when I'm done with it, but these decks are all for me to learn on, so I'm not really all that too concerned about messing something up, because as long as I learn something, that's the goal. More belt goo. It's just literally all over the place in this thing. Trying to get it clean, and I keep finding more. Okay, that's working properly. Put this big old spring back on. Like so. I gotta figure out where this spring went. That's how that spring goes, according to my footage, so I guess I will just leave it there. And hope that is correct. The head block should hold that in place once it goes back on, which is happening immediately. Still not moving real well, but I will go ahead and add a little bit more grease to these areas to try and help that a bit. And I see another slide I didn't grease. I wonder if I can do that from here. Yes, I can. Easy enough. Okay, and I got a grease in here as well. Need a fair bit in there, I think. Maybe not as much as Hitachi used, but we need some at the very least. Okay, that should do. And got to lube where those ball bearings go. Didn't quite get all the old grease out of there, but enough to do the service. And now I should be able to start reinstalling these plates with their ball bearings. I'll put this one ball bearing down in place already. Should be how it goes. There we go. Just had the ball bearing a little out of position is all. And you saw me run the screw backwards to catch the thread. And that one went right into place, and we got to get this weird washer on now. These are actually metal screws, but like I said, you can do the go backwards trick on metal screws as well. Feels good. Back tension brake is engaging properly. I just don't know about this brake action. It does work when I press down on this plate. So I think what happens is the lamp housing, which inserts right down through this area up here, presses down on the brake plate and keeps it in place while the brake mechanism is actuating. I hope that's how that works in this one, because if that's not how it works, then might have a problem here. I'm going to get a little bit more grease in there just to be safe, because I want to be sure the brakes actuate on this. Okay, so the take-up side is going to go first. We'll just measure the roller. That is zeroed out. Good. 12.1 millimeters outer diameter, 8.5 height, and the shaft is 1.9 millimeters. So I actually do not have a pinch roller for this. If it needs a new one, I don't think I've got 12 millimeters. I've got 13 and I've got 11. That is what I have. So I'll get out my cleaning supplies again, which I put away for some unknown reason. Okay, now, we're not doing ISO for the pinch roller cleaning. We're doing acetone, because it works. I like things that work. Okay, let's see how much grime we get off this one. Downside with acetone is you do have to check it for whether or not it'll melt plastic, but for getting rubber parts clean, not much works as well. Oh man, this pinch roller looks phenomenal just with the acetone. And that's how dirty it was. I hope you could see that, because I can't see the screen from where I am of my recording device. Oh yes, very, very good pinch roller here. I am not going to have to replace this. What I am going to have to do is clean it up with soap and water though, because acetone, but that's fine. I'll do that off camera. I'll scrub it with soap and water and then use my brass wire brush to go over it lightly, and this is in great shape. Take-up side is done. except for the little bit of grease I got on the roller. I think I got it all off. Now we got to do the supply side. I'll bring that spring over here too so I don't forget about it. Now we got to get this one out. And where's my punch? This being a plastic housing, I can just drive it right through. It'll just pop right out. Okay, what is the size of this one? Smaller, but how much smaller? 10.8 on this one. So you'd want an 11 millimeter on this side and a 12 millimeter on this side. And then this is going to be the same. Yeah, 8.4. And the shaft is 1.9, so yes. By the way, yes, the shaft of the other side is lubricated. I did the same thing I always do. I put the pin in just loose, plugged the hole in the pinch roller with some moly coat, and just ran the pin through. That's how I do that, usually. All right, folks, there you have it. Rollers are back in, head block's back in. Just about ready to try and fight the door mechanism. And I hope I can figure this out. Should be able to. Always manage to do it on other decks, so I'll do it on this one as well. First, of course, this thing will have to go back in, and there's grease to remove on this. And by the way, I have a little bit of an announcement. Yes, an announcement. I have decided, even though it's very unlikely I'll get to 10,000 subscribers by Christmas, I'm going to get into that Nakamichi ZX9 as a Christmas present to myself. It's been one hell of a stressful year, and I think I deserve it. Whether or not I actually do, and you think I'm crazy or something, don't matter. I'm going to do it. I need that deck to work. I need to hear how that thing sounds. Not optional. Okay, how do I get this back in? I should lube that pivot. Okay, that feels pretty good. I'm not actually going to reattach any of the springs just yet because I want to make sure that everything's working. I should clean this bar. So one thing I really like about this transport is Hitachi has this little bar here to present you with your cassette after you're done playing it. Don't really know anybody else who's doing that. Okay, now I gotta figure out the door situation here. If I can. I gotta put this back on first. Okay, so this thingamadoodle is back in. Now, how does the actual door go back in? I'm leaving that spring out, this one, for now, until I figure out just how things went back together. I might still have to consult my footage, but not going to worry about that for now. Okay, this bracket goes like that. Actually, I'm going to take this one off too, this arm. Okay, so I figured the spring out. This is where it goes here. It's got a little bendy downy part that goes into this little hole up here. And then this longer section fits into this groove on the door right here, which has been re-lubricated. So let's see if we can put this back in place now. It's probably not going to be the easiest job in the world because we got to balance this out as well. And oh, I need grease on this. Right down yonder. And also it would be a good idea to put some on this plastic piece here. Okay, this comes down here. Pull the spring. Spring's not in place. I think it is now. Yes, it is now. So that should be the way it goes. And let's see, have I tightened these screws down for the door? Sure have. Oh, right, I gotta put this arm back on too. I took it off for lubrication. Okay, the door is back on and everything appears to be working. I will just... I didn't tighten that screw. Screw needs to be tight. Let me tighten it. Oh, that's tight enough. I don't want to really crank it down, but it could use another quarter turn. Anyhow, this is how it's working. It's a little bit slow, but that's fine. I don't mind it if it's a little bit slow, as long as it completes the cycle, and it is. So we are just about done with the transport service, but we have to clean the heads, and we have to find a counter belt. Another thing I have to do is I have to get rid of all the excess moly coat from here. I don't want any of that leaking out because it might get on the counter belt. Whatever it happens to be. So, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to try some trial and error just to find the right belt? Probably. Anyway, let's do the heads first. They got to be clean. Acetone or ISO. I'll try ISO first, and if that's not enough, acetone. I'm not exactly sure what Hitachi does with these heads. They say titanium coated, but I don't know, that could be just marketing. Those heads were not dirty. Not at all were they dirty. Okay, just taking a look. You know what? I am going to do a little bit of a swipe with acetone, just to be safe. Oh yeah, totally clean. Let's get the erase head. I've already done the entry guide, so that's clean. Capstans are clean. I know I did those. Pinch rollers are clean and practically new looking. Pinch roller pivots have been done. Can't adjust this, so I can't really do anything there. Yeah, the transport service is complete on this. We just have to find a counter belt. And then, like I said, I'll come back in the next video and we'll test it and see what else is wrong with this deck. I'll want to test it lying out like this first, briefly, because I want to get eyeballs on that capstan belt to see if it moves when I try to run it in play mode. I know it's fine in stop mode because I have had this powered up just as it sits right now. You can do that on this particular deck. Just got to plug in the capstan motor and it's off to the races. Okay, so I have found our first counter belt. It is 160 millimeters internal circumference by 0.7 millimeters square. I do believe the factory belt was 1 millimeter and not 0.7, but I like to use the 0.7s whenever possible to reduce wow and flutter, and there's just a little bit of slip going on here, but not much. Like, I can put my fingers on this and stop it and feel the friction on the belt, but there's not so much friction that it'll get up into the wow and flutter affecting range. And I'll have to do the same thing for this other belt as well. That is going to be it for video number 2. Like I said, I'm going to Saskatoon on Saturday to go see a concert, Strange Advance, for the very first time ever. Both for them being in Saskatchewan and for me going to an actual rock concert. Strange Advance is playing first, then it's going to be Haywire, then Asia, and then 5440. But I'm not going to see all of them because my anxiety disorder will not let me do it. But I'm very happy that Strange Advance is going on first, so at least I'll see their whole set. Hopefully Haywire as well, because Haywire is a great band. Trust me. Anyhow, that's going to be it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video with the testing part of this. And yeah, that's that. Take care.